Welcome back to Next Level Sim Gaming, and boy have I got a treat for you today. So as well as an update to American Truck Simulator, which I covered in my previous video, we now have a 1.55 update to ATS's older brother, Euro Truck Simulator 2. Not to be outdone by the Iowa DLC coming soon to ATS, SCS Software, who are on an absolute roll at the moment, took the community by surprise and announced ETS2 Coaches DLC, where you can ditch the HGV and take the wheel of a coach with various models planned. Now the release date is not mentioned, although I have read previously that it was penned to be released soon. But not once to wait, I thought it would be a great idea to use our fine modding community and check out ETS2 1.55, but this time with coaches. And boy was I shocked at how good this is. On the Pimax Super, check it out right after this. And the fantastic team at Pimax have some incredible offers for all Next Level Sim Gaming subscribers on both the Pimax Crystal Lite and the Pimax Super, using the discount code NLSimgaming. But you might be undecided about getting a Pimax device as you already own or have owned a VR headset. So from July the 7th, Pimax have an absolutely unbeatable offer by providing proof of purchase of an eligible VR headset. For example, if you've owned a Quest 2 and take up this offer, you can get an incredible $80 off a Pimax Crystal Lite. Or a Vero XR3, you can get $100 discount. Now this offer will run from the 7th of July, and if you want to see what you can expect moving from a Quest 3 for example to the Pimax Crystal Lite, check out my Quest 3 versus Pimax Crystal Lite video linked at the end of this one. So guys, here we are in Euro Truck Simulator 2 and we have coaches. Well, almost coaches. We have modified coaches because we can't wait for SCS to deliver their DLC. We don't need to wait for that. We have coaches now. Now, I have to say that this is an actually amazing mod and I can't believe I've let these slide by me for so long. I've seen these modifications for some time and I thought, coaches, meh. But actually, as soon as SCS announced DLC coaches, I'm like, okay, I need to find some coaches now. Now, I'm a member of a few groups on Facebook and the best community ever on X, to name but a few. And I put some screenshots of coaches on a couple of those groups a couple of nights ago. And the amount of interest that I had from those screenshots was absolutely huge, absolutely phenomenal. And I thought, okay, we're onto something here. This is pretty cool. But little did I realize how good it would actually be. So we are in Toulouse in the south of France, and we are about to embark on a coaching holiday. Well, we're not really. We're going to have a bit of a drive around in the coach just to see and show you what it's like. But we've got the nice Scania just to the left of us here, and we can have a look around just to compare the two vehicles. So you can see the size is pretty similar, but when you're actually within the coach itself, it feels absolutely huge, as you're going to see in a moment, and it's really an unusual experience initially. But as you can see, we have here as well version 1.55 of ETS, and it actually is fantastic. We've got the newest synchronous loading, which seems to improve things as well for the actual experience in terms of smoothness. So in VR, it's always been a bit of a difficult beast to get under control, for better want of a word. The games are getting on a bit now, especially ETS2. It goes back to 2012. But we have the modifications to essentially see us through, and I've just actually put my foot on the accelerator then when I didn't mean to. But we have the modifications to bring us almost through to photorealistic experiences on these games. Now, again, if I look to the Scania just to the left of us and to the right, you can see that the quality in this modification is exceptional as well. So the one on the left is an official SCS truck. The one on the right here is the, let me get this right, Marco Polo Paradiso 1200 Volvo. I know nothing about coaches, but I've learned quite a lot about the Marco Polo Paradiso 1200 Volvo, and it actually is a really, really nice bus to drive. So if we zoom in on the detail just here, if you look at the wheels, and everything is absolutely fantastic, really looks nice. And you can actually customize this bus as well. There's a few modifications you can do. And as you can see, if we look at the front of this, it's really highly detailed, especially with the stickers, which are obviously some kind of legal obligation of some type. We've got all the various different ones just here as well. Really highly detailed, and modders have done an absolutely fantastic job of this. They really have. Now also, as you may have noticed just there, we have some really enthusiastic looking passengers just here. Oh, she looks like something from the House of the Dead, and he looks like he is actually dead on the back seat just here. So they're probably decomposed with sat there waiting to go on their coaching holiday while I'm sat here waffling on the way telling you how good this game is. But we're going to dive in the actual interior of the coach now. We're going to have a little look around, and I'll show you a couple of nice features about the coach and what to expect. So I'm trying not to move my head around too much here, but I have to do, because I have to look up first of all and show you the sense of scale is absolutely incredible. Now you can't see this in VR, you can see this on the flat screen, but let me tell you this, and I'll say this again, there's no better way to play ATS and ETS2 than on Pimax. It is absolutely incredible. This is a Pimax Super, and everything is just popping, color-wise, visual-wise, detail-wise. It's crisp, it's absolutely immense. Now, it's not your normal vehicle, this, because we've got a few little tricks up our sleeve as well. So, if I open and close the window on the left here, we normally would have an open and closing window on ETS2 or ATS, but look at the action on this, it looks absolutely fantastic. The level of detail, even the engraving on the window itself there, we've got a pull rope just here for the blind. Can't pull that, but it looks like I could because it's so realistic. And then on the right hand side, this is the je ne sais quoi. We've got the sliding door as well. Look how cool that is. We've also got another door here. I think we can open this, but I'm not too sure how. But we've got some really angry looking passengers behind me here, probably infuriated by the fact they want to embark on their coaching holiday, and I'm sat here explaining on how amazing and immersive this is in VR. Even the mirror actually is true in terms of its representation. You can see right down the back of a truck, and the mirrors are actually really strange on a coach. I never really considered this, but you've got the rabbit ear mirrors, which is fairly true to rendition, and we've got a magnified section at the top, a concave section, and we've got the drop down bits as well. It's really weird, guys, driving a bus or a coach, I have to say, when you first start playing in this game, but I'm getting used to it now. And then of course we've got the normal mods, we've got the windscreen wipers, and I've got the Moser R5 back on here. We've got the Moser indicator stalker just here, so I can show you that in its reality. And the windscreen wipers are absolutely huge, they're massive. And the level of detail, as I mentioned already, the detail in the legal bits and pieces, whatever that means, it's in some weird foreign language. But a lot of these coach modifications are from South America, like Brazil, and it's quite difficult to find ones that are actually true to European companies, etc. So it'll be really nice to get the official DLC. But don't get me wrong, the modifiers of these coaches have done an absolutely amazing job. Now, again, you've got all the normal stuff like your lights, everything works. The detail on the dashboard is awesome, and yeah, it looks really, really nice. So how does it drive? Well, that's always the question. Now we're going to set off. I've got my window open, and it's presently 5:22 a.m. and we are in Toulouse with nothing to lose. Said that joke already. And we are going to embark with our passengers and take them on their anticipated journey. Now, it's not just about driving around showing YouTubers, or YouTube viewers rather, how games play. It's also about actually performing real missions in this game. So, thank you very much, sir, for letting me out there. You had no choice. You would choose a mission in this game like you would choose any other. So you actually would go to the jobs, you would find a cargo job, and you would then go to pick up from the depot, for better want of a word, or the place where you're collecting from, and then you would simply collect your cargo, which in this instance would be passengers, and then you would complete the job, and at the end of it you will get paid, and that's it. So that's how it works with the passengers. Now that, of course, doesn't come as standard with the coaches. That's also another workshop mod that someone has really cleverly done. Now, it doesn't extend as far as being able to see the passengers getting on the coach or getting off. What you're seeing behind me here is just a purchased feature, an add-on almost, that comes with the coach in the setup area, the garage, for better want of a word. So it's not obviously as good as what the DLC is going to be, but it's good. It's really, really good, and I'm actually really surprised as to how good it is. So I'm trying not to move my head around here so you can see how it is, but of course I'm going to move my head slightly so you can get an idea of how it appears as we're driving along. Now, this game is getting on a bit now. It's a game from 2012, and SCS have done an amazing job of keeping this game going. I mentioned in the previous video that they've sold over 80 million copies of DLC on Euro Truck Simulator 2 alone, which is absolutely phenomenal. And what the guys are announcing constantly is shocking the community over and over again. We've gone from fictional trucks over the years that I've seen to moving into real trucks, which has been fantastic, and that in itself was a massive transformation. But to have now new types of vehicle coming into the game is something that I never anticipated happening. We've got an amazing amount of vehicles. We had the Volvo FH5, and we've obviously had a number of other recent trucks that have been really, really nice, and of course then the modding community then got on and added extra bits onto those. We've sort of worked in reverse with this one, so the modding community have developed the trucks, and now SCS have obviously thought that's not a bad idea, we're going to get in and involved in that. And it's amazing how well this works in this game. It almost turns it into a completely different game. I've looked at truck and bus simulator games before and they've never really interested me, and it's really interesting to actually play this as almost like an extension of ETS2. It just adds a lot more variety, and like all modifications in the game, you really get involved with them and you start hunting for more. And I found some really nice coaches, and unfortunately some of them in the transition from 1.54 to 1.55 just don't work. I found a really, really good one actually. So I'm pretty sure that those mods are going to be updated like all other modifications. And that's one of the things with ETS2 and ATS. Unfortunately, we are always going through evolution every time there's an update to the game where we are going to lose mods, or mods just aren't updated because the modders just don't have the enthusiasm perhaps to carry on with updating them. So again, it's really fantastic work that these guys are doing, and we have to give them real testament and credit to that. And not just in Euro Truck Simulator 2 or ATS. The Cyberpunk video that I did quite recently, the Luke Ross modification is an absolute game changer in VR. Now, people say VR is dead. VR is not dead. VR is just an absolute infancy at the moment, where VR is becoming absolutely incredible. It really is. I've never over the years seen VR as good as what we've got it now. And it's modifications like the Luke Ross mod that's making things possible, because we have a massive wealth of games available to us that we've just never had before. Now with ATS and ETS2, it's always been on beta participation mode, which brings me nicely onto the other big improvement in this game. We now have an improvement in the game, which is actual opt-in to VR through a VR experimental launch command, rather than actually having to download the beta participation, which is a completely separate download. So now what we can do is we can actually launch the game just by using one command. A little bit like when you launch any other VR game and you have an option to launch in VR or in flat screen mode. It's really the same thing, but we are just adding a line into the launch command to make it happen, rather than pressing a button. So that is a huge move towards native VR. And again, it's something that's been really long waited, really long anticipated, and it's going to make a tremendous difference in the long term, because obviously if you play in flat screen as well, like I do occasionally, I have a Tobii Eye Tracker 5 and I enjoy playing on the wide screen of the ultra wide as well. Being able to just flip between them by adding or removing one launch command is a really good thing, because previously it was a real pain. I would have to reload the game in its standard form, and then I would have to then remove all the command lines and everything that I've set in there. You don't have to do that now. You just literally just have to add or remove that command line. Of course, your menu is going to appear a little bit on an angle, etc., because they haven't quite sorted this out in VR yet. You'll know this if you've launched in VR previously. The menu is on a different orientation when you load into it, and that obviously can be changed, and it's changed within the guide that I actually do give you with this game as well. Now, the other thing I have to mention as well is that Pimax have been absolutely phenomenal with both ETS and ATS. They recognise that there are really big communities around these games, and the reason I've put the Moser wheel on today again is because we have things like the indicator socks. We have a trucking wheel that goes with this. I haven't got that trucking wheel on here at the moment, but we have all these additional features that are geared towards trucking, virtual trucking, and it's a huge growing market. Now, Pimax have been really good to recognize that, okay, at the moment it's not native VR, but it's getting to the point where it's native VR. Look at this for an absolutely weird thing in a tunnel. So we have a jet fighter that's fallen off the back of a Scania lorry. It's not something you see every day, is it? Especially in the tunnel. And very, very weird. And that's the sort of thing that we like to see in the ETS2. There's weird things happen, and there's weird Easter eggs that just keep us on our toes. So Pimax have been really keen to get involved in the communities, not just the ETS2 and ATS community, but communities in general. And they've done events with Microsoft Flight Simulator, and they've done events with other games, and that's really encouraging to see that they, out of no other company I can think of, especially in VR, really do care about the communities and are really getting involved with things, and that's fantastic. So we're a little bit at an early stage with VR with Pimax at the moment. They maybe haven't acknowledged previously that ETS2 and ATS2 are on the radar, and previously they were really difficult to get running on Pimax devices, which set me off on a mission, whereas now look at this. This is absolutely amazing, and I've created the guides so you can get your games running like this. All the bells and whistles, all the modifications, and this is running absolutely fantastically with OpenXR Reshade and Project Next Gen, JBX3, everything you could possibly want. And it looks absolutely incredible, it really does. So that's the end of this video, guys. Just a real overview of trucks, coaches, ATS and ETS2 on the new 1.55 updates which we've just had released. And let me know your thoughts in the comments, and really interested to see what you think about coaches and what you want to see in ATS and ETS2. And if you are interested in seeing modifications, I'm more than happy to actually look at vehicles and some other things within the game as well, because remember, we also have Project Road Trip as well on ATS, which is promising us Route 66 in convertible vehicles. That will be epic, I'm pretty sure, in VR especially.
So thank you once again for watching, and remember that incredible offer using the code NLSimgaming, and here is the comparison video from the Quest 3 to Pimax Crystal Light, and you can add a Pimax Crystal Light to your VR collection and getting an unbeatable $80 off from July the 7th, and here is the guide to both ATS and ETS2 also linked here. I really appreciate your likes, subscribes and shares, and they've really helped me bring you some more amazing content. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.